Just connecting.
Okay, I will start now.
Okay. Yes.
Hello, namaste, vanakkam, shubhakankshalu, asan sakal. Hearty greetings and good wishes to all dear sisters and brothers who are attending this final session of the 98th Easter Conference organized by the Indian section of the Theosophical Society. Just like after the Holy Week, the final day is celebrated as Easter Sunday or Resurrection Sunday. Similarly, thanks to our speakers who have shared with us today and in the last 2 days, their insightful, informative, and thought-provoking deliberations on the three jewels of the Theosophical literature: at the feet of the Master, the voice of the silence, and light on the path. These deliberations, we hope, will help in resurrecting the Christ, the Krishna, or the Buddhic principle within us. And hopefully, we have come to an inner state where we can take a quantum leap based on faith, devotion, and discrimination into the unknown, by slaying the conditionings, prejudices, and opinions which prevents us from perceiving the truth as it is. And it is this state when the devotee becomes God itself, the traveler becomes the path itself. And to share more about this unification, this yoga, I cannot think of a better person than Dr. R. Revathy, who has given her whole life in the service. I know she does not need any introduction, but to those who are new to this forum, may feel inspired to know that Dr. Revathy, daughter of late K. Ramanathan, who was a long-time worker of the Theosophical Society, was born, brought up, and did her schooling in the TS campus, Adyar. She is a medical doctor specialized in pediatrics, did her MBBS at Kilpauk Medical College, and did her post-graduation at Institute of Child Health and Hospital for Children, Agnihotri. And after her graduation, she joined the Tamil Nadu Medical Service and served in various institutions for more than 30 years. And during her life of service, she received the Best Performance Award from the Government of India for implementing successfully various ongoing health programs in rural areas. She received a certificate of appreciation for services rendered as a senior civil surgeon in one of the peripheral hospitals in Chennai. Apart from that, she has been a very active member of the Theosophical Order of Service. She plays a major role in the coordination of the medical services to the less privileged, giving medical help to the preschool children at the Social Welfare Center, Adyar, in helping the physically challenged children at community-based rehabilitation center in the city. And on many occasions, she has been interviewed by the Doordarshan on various subjects relating to child health. Also, she has been on All India Radio and addressed the listeners on various topics relating to public health. And last but not the least, she is the angel protector of all the residents in the Theosophical Society Adyar campus. And whenever there is a need of that sort, she is always ready to send not only her healing thoughts, but her healing medicines at whatever hour of the day it is. So I invite Dr. Revathy, and it's an honor to hear her to share with us her thoughts on the subject be the path to approach life and truth. Over to you, Dr. Revathy ji. Dr. Revathy ji, can you switch on the video?
Yes. A few minutes.
Okay, okay.
Just it's starting.
It's okay. It's okay. Your voice is clear. We just need to see you.
Good evening, Shikhar ji.
Good evening, Shinde ji. Good evening, everyone, and hello and welcome to this session. And while we are waiting for Dr. Revathy to set up her camera, I would like to share that especially during the COVID times, Dr. Revathy has worked really hard to keep everyone safe and secure within the TS campus. And under her instructions, we have been very fortunate to be under her guidance.
நான் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிட்டுமா?
Shall I help you, Dr. Revathy, in some technical thing?
Shikhar, this is Vinay. I'm assisting her.
Okay,
the system got rebooted.
Okay. Then it's okay. If you are there, then we are relaxed.
Yeah, so it's a bit slow. It will come in, I think, 2-3 minutes. It should be
Sure, no problem. In the meantime, I would like to request all our delegates and participants that we have attended the morning sessions on the preliminary qualifications from the light on the path, and the 4 preliminary qualifications to the path proper. And then we heard about those sutras work, but work like those who are ambitious. Then look for the light, follow the light, and dawa the light, devotion, contemplation, and self-service, self-sacrifice, rungs of the spiritual ladder. So if any one of the delegates, if you have any questions, any queries, or any comments on those sessions, and also the session that we are going to have now by Dr. Revathy, that be the path to approach life and truth. If you have any questions on this, kindly be ready with those questions. We'll be having the question and answer session from 5 to 5:30 p.m. If you want to ask the question yourself, kindly raise your hand by using the icon in the Zoom. Or if you are not able to find that icon, you can just switch on your camera and raise your hand physically, and we will invite you to ask your question. Otherwise, you can write your question in the chat box and we will take it up. So either of the three ways you can attract the attention of the moderator, and we'll have those discussions. And now we have Dr. Revathy with us. Her camera is working, and I will request her to unmute her microphone. Very nice to see you, Dr. Revathy. Her microphone. Very nice to see you, Dr. Revathy.
Thank you. Shall I begin?
Yes, the floor is all yours. Please, we are all waiting to listen to you. Please.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Dear brothers and sisters and all viewers, I am greatly privileged to take part in this 98th Easter Theosophical Conference. My heartfelt thanks to the organizers given me this opportunity. The Theosophical Society has grown to be an eminent center for learning and assimilating the various basics enshrined in the great religious world.
Dr. Revathy, sorry to interrupt you. Your voice is coming a little bit broken. Binayaji, can you do something about it?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
No, now your voice is coming good. Are there two devices next to each other?
I think there are two.
No. Can you enable her screen share?
Yeah. Mahapatraji, can you make Dr. Revathy co-host, please?
Yes, I have made her. Let me check.
No, the host disabled attendee screen sharing is what?
Okay. Yeah, just a second.
Now I made.
Okay, now you can share, Vinayji. And maybe some echo is coming from the other, or some interference was there. So yeah, you can try again.
I will take care. Don't worry. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can see the screen. Yes.
There is no echo, right?
No echo. Now it's good. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Perfectly. Please go ahead.
Okay, I'll start from the beginning. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Dear brothers and sisters and all viewers, I am greatly privileged to take part in this 98th Easter Theosophical Conference, and my heartfelt thanks to the organizers for having given me this opportunity. The Theosophical Society has grown to be an eminent center for learning and assimilating the various basic truths enshrined in the great religions of the world. We, the members of the Theosophical Society, are expected to live the life of a theosophist. Merely knowing the basic principles is not enough. The emphasis is to be on the practice. We should follow the prescribed set of rules in order to tread on a spiritual path. It is therefore a must for every theosophist to understand these basic principles and apply them in his own life. For the past 3 days, we have been studying the various spiritual instructions contained in the 3 mystical gems, the 3 theosophical classics: At the Feet of the Master, The Voice of the Silence, Light on the Path. Serious study of these basic treatises is of prime importance for our progress in the theosophical way of life. Light on the Path was the first of these treatises, and it occupies a unique position in our theosophical literature. It is an outstanding book on mysticism in theosophy and as universal application. It was dictated by the Master Ilarion and written down by Mabel Collins, who acted as the physical instrument and pen that wrote it. The text was originally a palm leaf manuscript written in Sanskritam. Sister Collins is also well known in theosophical circles for her collaboratory role with Madam H.P. Blavatsky in the editorship of Lucifer, the famous journal of theosophy. Light on the Path, as the name itself suggests, helps us to walk on the path under the guidance of this light. The path means the way, the road towards our goal. I would say that the goal itself is the light, which shines both within and without beginning or end. At first, it may be difficult to understand this statement of truth, but in the course of our study of the rules, it will become clear to us. All great religions of the world talk about this light in one way or other. Christianity and Islam refers to this light as the guiding force for the followers. In Hinduism, a question is asked to the disciple to tell what he knows about this light. The disciple in the beginning says that the light can be seen as sunlight during the daytime and light from moon and stars during the night. Then he is asked about the source from which the sun and the moon and the stars get their light. Finally, the disciple learns that an all-pervading light illumines everything. In this way, this light is goal and also the guide to the path to reach that goal. As you all know, Light on the Path contains 2 chapters. Each chapter contains 21 rules, spiritual instructions, aphorisms of profound significance. It has been the practice of ancient gurus to formulate such rules and dictate them to their chelas for strict adherence. They are highly condensed in size, and every word of these rules need to be correctly understood by the disciple. Thus, this book occupies a unique position in our theosophical literature as it gives directions from those who have trodden the path to those who desire to tread it. The directions from those who have trodden the path to those who desire to tread it. The instructions of the Master must be followed if we want to succeed in leading life in a spiritual way. We must attend to every word, taking every hint. We must try our best to live according to the teachings given. Any honest effort to really live the teaching always throws light on it. That is only way in which we can honor this book. Eminent theosophists have written commentaries on this book. According to Brother T. Subbarao, Light on the Path has several depths of meaning which are revealed to the spiritual aspirant as he progresses from one level to the other on his spiritual journey. It is often said that such a sublime experience cannot be adequately expressed in words. So the emphasis should be on following these rules in our day-to-day life, step by step, rather than trying to understand them all at once. When you want to reach a new place in a short time, you have to start walking on the correct road with the help of a map. Wherever there is an intersection of roads, we refer to the map to choose the right direction. Light on the path is such a guiding principle. If there is any mistake in following this guidance, you will lose the path and end up in the wrong place. Now we should understand that the light on the path is not meant for an academic study or for a casual discussion. No, the first part of this book is intended for the student new to the theosophical life. The second part is meant for those who are already devoted to the theosophical way of life. These rules are written for all disciples. Attend you to them. This means all disciples must read and listen and also meditate upon them in order to advance on the spiritual path. The four preliminary statements we have already listened to, and these four statements which describe the four qualifications preliminary to the path proper. They describe the true sight, true hearing, true speech, and true standing in the presence of the master. That is to say, true ability to serve mankind under his direction, which is our theosophical goal. The following table shows the rules under part 1. And we have heard the first 3 rules presented in the morning session. The rules 5, 6, and 7 form a group and point to purity of heart and steadiness of spirit. They indicate what the man must do with himself, what is his duty to himself in the way of preparation for work. These rules state that we are to kill out all sense of separateness, desire for sensation, and the hunger for growth. They indicate man's duty to those around him socially. He must realize that he is one with others. He must be willing to give up selfish and separate pleasures. He must kill out the desire for personal growth and work for the growth of the whole. In the next 9, 10, and 11, we are told what to desire. That which is within us, that which is beyond us, and that which is unattainable. These are clearly a man's duty to his higher self. Then follows aphorism 13 to 16 on the desire for power, peace, and possessions. Those are all desires which must be fit for the work of the path. The next group of rules, 17 to 20, tells the aspirant how to seek the way. It says, seek out the way. The spirit in which we should approach the path is beautifully expressed in these words. All the way through, the personality must be put aside and one must work from the point of view of higher self. To do that is to seek the way. We are to seek this way by study of our innermost being. With the basic understanding of these introductory statements and rules under part 1, we shall now proceed to the topic of today's afternoon presentation. Be the path to approach life and truth. The path means the real spiritual life. Man, in real sense, is a spiritual being. So, in living the spiritual life, he is being his true self. If he would tread the path, he must use all his faculties and powers, the whole of himself. What man is in essence, that he becomes in truth a manifestation of the divine. When the disciple is in this stage, he is told, "Thou art the path, be the path." Before this time, his master is to him his path. He sees the divine manifesting in the master. But when the divine in him manifests, he himself is the path or way. He becomes the path in the proportion as he advances. Therefore, the whole nature of the man is to be used wisely. When that is done, the divine fragment or divine seed or spark will unfold its latent powers to achieve a positive life. The first 8 rules given in the second chapter, the disciple is prepared step by step to understand the complexity involved in reaching the goal. The first rule says that you should stand aside and still fight the battle. We simply call it karma yoga with a marked sense of detachment. The second rule says, look for the warrior and let him fight in thee. This is also suggests that you should act as an agent of the divine force in you. The third rule says, take his orders for the battle and obey them. This is something like the great warrior Arjuna informing Lord Krishna that he is prepared to do whatever the Lord asks him to do. The fourth rule deals about treating the great Lord as one with Atman and the same time as the refuge of Atman. The fifth one refers to nature's harmony, understanding the great Lord as all-pervasive. It also trains the disciple to listen to the Lord's voice clearly. The sixth and seventh rule explains that the entire nature is pervaded by great Lord and moves according to his melodious and harmonious rhythm. We have 2 gems from Vedanta illustrating this principle. Bhagavad Gita says, Hagam sarvasya prabhovo matta sarvam pravartate. I am the light behind all creations. All of them get their luminescence or sentiency from me. We also have the opening sloka from Isha Vasya Upanishad. Isha Vasyam idam sarvam. All this is pervaded by the Lord. The 8th rule makes you to understand that you are the part of this harmony. You will have to move along with the rhythm only. We shall now proceed to the detailed study of rules 9 through 12. Rule number 9 says, regard earnestly all the life that surrounds you. To understand this rule with proper perspective, it is necessary to clarify the import of the word life. In theosophical parlance, we know that all life in the Logos to be definitely part of his life. This universal truth is expressed in all great religions more or less in the same way. But this basic principle is accepted by everyone. Acharyas differ only in the peripheral details. Shankara says Atma and Brahman are one. Sri Ramanuja says that Atman is only the outer body of Brahman and therefore Brahman is called Paramatman. Let us not go into the details now. It is sufficient to understand that there is a definite relationship between the Lord and the life. Even if we casually talk in terms of my life, your life, his life, etc., it is clear that all lives are related to and dependent on the great Lord. Just as a chain of pearls depends on the support given by a single thread, Mayi sarvam idam protam sutre manigana iva. If that thread is absent, the pearls will fall off automatically. As long as that thread is there, pearls form themselves into a beautiful necklace and present a grand appearance, even if this life is understood only as a part of nature. Its relationship with other life cannot be disputed. Nature consists of two things: things which have greater degree of life, things which have lesser degree of life, animals, vegetables, kingdom, plants, etc. The entire combination is called the nature or prakriti. This prakriti is considered as the other half of Purusha, and therefore it is also worshipped by us. It naturally follows that life commands as much respect as the Lord himself. The life is seen as a manifestation of Lord himself. If this great principle is understood properly, we will no longer consider the lives outside or the lives which surround us as external objects. They are one with us. This is conveyed in the saying, Atmavat Sarvabhutani. It is not only universal brotherhood, it is the unity of all life. We will have to treat all the lives around us as our own. Now it will be easy to appreciate the import of other two words, regard and earnestly. Earnestly means with serious intention and sincerity of purpose. We are all familiar with pujas, prayers, and ceremonies and other forms of worship. The one golden rule which runs through all these formalities is the sincerity of purpose. The same earnestness should be shown to help the other beings. In fact, this earnestness is the cornerstone for success in spiritual life. It should be reflected in our thinking, in our speech, in our action, in thought, word, and deed. If there is any shortfall in earnestness, we will only fall from this higher level to the ground. It may take few more lives for us to set right the damage. Next comes the word regard. Regard means it's an expression of respect. Here again, this is not an ordinary respect or consideration that we show to our superiors or senior brethren. No, this is the respect we show to the highest person who has no equal. The word regard is used both in rule number 9 and 11. There is subtle difference between the regard that we show to the life around us and to our own heart. Imagine the regard that you show to your father on the one hand and the mother on the other. The regard you show to the mother has more of softness. We may also recall the reference made to Prakriti and Purusha little while ago. This is the regard that we show to the mother nature or the life that surrounds us. We now come to rule number 10, which reads as follows. Learn to look intelligently into the hearts of men. We come to the question of how to comprehend that life with the help of our own faculty. It is common knowledge that students have varied level of intelligence. An engineer can easily find out the defect in a machine. A doctor can diagnose a deficiency or disorder in human body. It simply means that any human brain needs to be trained in a particular fashion to perform a particular job. Now we are asked to learn to look intelligently into the hearts of men. Though the statement appears to be simple, it is very difficult to follow this rule. We can look into a book. We can look into a river, tree, mountain, or even look into the general appearance of man. We can look into anything that is visible. But how are we to look into hearts of men? It needs a lot of explanation even to understand the idea, leave alone its practice. Probably for this reason, a note is also added to this rule, which says It should be seen from an absolute, impersonal point of view. This is still more difficult to understand. We are asked to shed the bias that we are having either in favor of or against the person we are seeing. No man is to be treated as our enemy or as a friend. All are to be viewed without any partiality. This is not easy to practice. As long as we are in this body, our intelligence is bound to be conditioned by the experience that this body has given us. So you must come out of this body and examine the person. It takes a lot of spiritual exercise to achieve this level. Then the very same intelligence will become a powerful tool to know what is going on in the hearts of other men. In this context, I would like to remind you of what one of the masters of the wisdom has said. Forget yourself, but to remember the good of other people. It is not easy to forget ourselves. The very fact we set out to do it means thought of self. Perhaps the best way is cultivate interest and goodwill in every living thing in all spheres of life. Then the thought of the self will slip away. Be wary of personal likes and dislikes. The man of the world help the people he likes is often unjust to the people he doesn't like. But the would-be disciple aids, if he can, all men, all life, without any distinction whatsoever. It is towards this end, Sri Ramana Maharishi first asked us to examine who am I. Then, after separating I from the body-mind complex, with the help of this separated I, it will be easy to examine the odds of other men. At that stage, our own intelligence level achieve this capacity of knowing what is going on there. This is the quality of Sarvagnya or totality. This level of intelligence is called it's the quality of Brahman. With the help of such a degree of intelligence, it will be possible to look into the hearts of men. Now the question arises, what will be found in the hearts of men? Would you see their vices, the bad qualities, selfishness, anger, greed, etc.? No, you are expected to see what is there in that heart beyond all these things. For this purpose, we have got to believe that something which is most precious is hidden there. Such a belief is essential. In the same way, we should have confidence that the divine light shining within others' hearts can be perceived with some effort, even though we are not readily seeing it. Such a degree of certainty should be developed by looking at others' heart intelligently. It is here that we should have a strong faith in the words of the Master, who says there is light in the other's heart. Vedanta says, Paranye naham nigitam gugayam viprajite tat yatayo vishanti. It means that light which is higher than heaven is shining within the cage of the heart. This is capable of being perceived by the pure and intelligent people only. So we must be very clear about the rule number 10, which says that we should look intelligently into the hearts of men. The word intelligently referred to in this implies that we should be sure of what we are searching, where we are searching, and how we are searching. The intelligence mentioned here does not refer to any academic study or logical statement. It refers to the purity of mind, sincerity of purpose, longing of heart. We should also cultivate a certain degree of concentration, detachment, and control over our senses. The purpose of saying it in so many words, it's not to frighten you, but to express the seriousness with which Rule number 10 should be studied and practiced. A note has been added to this rule, which says only impersonal intelligence, which loses the bonds of personality, can grasp the other's heart and guide it. Then comes the rule number 11, which says, regard most earnestly your own heart. Study of the rules 9, 10, and 11 is arranged in a particular order, which should not also escape our attention. We are asked to see the life around us first. Then we are asked to see intelligently into the other's heart. Now we are asked to regard our own heart. It means we have been considering what is outside of us so far, and only now we are moving into our own inner side. This has been deliberately arranged in this way because our senses are accustomed for a long time to go outside, stay there always. It is their nature to study things which are outside only. And that is why we should allow them to go in their own way and make them to be very clear in whatever they are perceiving. And only when they are made to know, at least by implication, that though there is something valuable in the outside life, we can make people turn inwards and search for the same valuable things inside. In the same way, if our heart is able to find something in the other's hearts, then it will have confidence to search for it in its own area or sphere. Even from our own point of view, there are several faculties which should be employed to do the job of searching our own heart. Not only our senses, but also mind and soul should strain every nerve and search in the deeper layers of the heart. While doing so, we should be careful to deal with it not as a physical process, but as highly sensitive and sacred work. We should not be dogmatic or egoistic in doing such a sacred work. Even a fraction of ego will throw us miles away. And in the Master's eye, the one enemy of spirituality is egotism, or agankara. Let us remember that. That is why the rule number 11 uses the word regard, which means showing deep respect, sincerity, humility, etc. We should not have diffidence. This is because we are traveling on the path which is shown by our great ones, and with the help of the light given by them. Such an approach is most essential to pursue divinity that's all pervading yet hidden. In Bhagavad Gita, Jagat Guru Sri Krishna tells Arjuna, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridayeshe Arjuna Dishtati. God resides in the heart of every created entity. And we know our universal invocation given by our Dr. Annie Besant, in which she says, "Oh, hidden light, shining in every creature." Next come the words most earnestly. The difference in the usage of these words in rule number 9 and 11 is obvious. When you are looking at the life that surrounds you, you are expected to look with earnestness. When you are looking at your own heart, the same earnestness should be at the highest level, most earnestly. What's the need for it? Because you are making only a general survey of all life around you, but you are looking at your own heart, which will be used as a tool for the activities noted in the rule number 9, that is looking at the life around us. The subsequent rule explains this still more clearly. The consideration that we give to study our own heart is very important, because we are going to be guided by what it dictates. When your intellect fails, when your logic or reasoning fails, when your senses do not go that far to correctly guide you, it is your own heart that will tell you as to what should be done. It is called the intuition. It should not be mistaken with our emotional reaction. Intuition is that which comes from within and from the divine light which is shining within the heart. All that is required of you is to recognize it properly. That is why the words most earnestly have been used in this rule number 11 deliberately. Next comes the number 12, which says, for through your own heart comes one light which can illuminate life and make it clear to your eyes. This rule is important because previous three rules speak about the life and the heart only, whereas this rule speaks about the light. This is the light of knowledge. This is the light of wisdom. This illuminates the life and makes it very clearly visible. This light is variously referred to by almost all the great religions of the world. In Vedanta, it is also called variously Antarjyoti, Bahirjyoti, Pratyek Jyoti, Jyotirjyoti, Swayam Jyoti, Atma Jyoti. All these jyotis refer to one and the same great light. With the help of this light, studying our own heart is greatly facilitated. This is the eternal light which has been guiding the universe for millions of years now. It will be a pleasant experience even to think of, speak of, or sing in praise of this light. I'll be failing in my duty if I don't remember Vallalar in this context and sing Arutperunjodi, Arutperunjodi, Tani Perungarunai, Arutperunjodi, the great blessed light, the great blessed light, the great light of love and life, the great blessed light. So if this light shows the way, there is no danger of going astray for any one of us. It has been stated in this rule as one light which illuminates life and makes it clear to our eyes. So taking 9, 10, 11 and 12 as one set, we understand that the light which is shining in your heart is also shining in every other heart. Every aspirant should recognize this first so that he will forget all the differences between himself and the other creations in nature. One who verily sees himself in all the elements and sees all the elements in him reaches the ultimate. Sarva bhutasmatmanam sarva bhutani atmani cha atmani. The person who sees one in all and all in one becomes one with eternal, says the Kaivalya Upanishad. So next we will go to rule number 13, which says, speech comes only with knowledge. Attain to knowledge and you will attain to speech. Note that this rule, it has been said that you will have to help others with the knowledge you have obtained. Help the ignorant. This transmission of knowledge is done by several methods, each according to its own tradition. This knowledge is transmitted by thought, by look, by touch, by speech, by silence. Whatever the method of transmission of knowledge, transmission by speech is inevitable. All the ancient rishis therefore resorted to the transmission of knowledge by speech. One may wonder as to how such knowledge can be transmitted by words. Everyone knows that spirituality is an experience that cannot be easily described by words, but still we find in actual practice that all those who have obtained higher spiritual knowledge have resorted to transmission of this knowledge to as many people as possible with required details. Thus, you may not find suitable words for this purpose. The Vedas and Upanishads of Sanatana Dharma guide us to attain this experience. Our founder, Madam H.P. Blavatsky's spiritual knowledge and experience has given us theosophy. the divine wisdom. Her works, the secret doctrine, the voice of the silence, speak of such knowledge and experience. We can take Dr. Annie Besant as an outstanding example of one who spoke with unmatched eloquence, not to show her knowledge, but to bring as many people as possible into the sphere of this spiritual experience. This phenomenon of people speaking so earnestly for the upliftment of others is found among all the perfected souls. It is explained in this rule. There is a font within you from which speech will arise. This takes us to another angle. Persons blessed with this experience are also blessed with power of speech so that others may get inspired. In ancient days, those who felt deeply about virtue came out with sort of expression without their effort. The first sloka in Sanskrit came out of sage Valmiki's mouth when he was deeply concerned about a bird losing its companion. Such a font gave birth to the great epic, the Ramayana. Thus, we clearly understand that it is not their effort or learning which came out, but it is the light within that throughout the speech. All the rules of grammar followed this outflow of their thought. The final rules following this rule deal with the development of their inner senses to know about the secrets of earth, air, water, and also about the holy ones of earth and inmost one. But when the seeker reaches the 17th rule, he is on the threshold of becoming more than man. At this stage, we may hear the voice of the Master. Peace be with you. My peace I give unto you. It is said here that the disciple who can receive the peace of the Master is only that one who is as the Master himself. The Master gives his own peace, which nothing can disturb, to those who are as himself, part of his own nature, sharing with him all that he is in, so far as they are able to receive it. At this stage, we can easily say that it is the spark lost in the fire, the drop within the ocean, the ever-present ray that becomes the all, the eternal radiance. Now you will understand that the guiding principle has become the goal itself. It is at this stage the seeker stands in the center and sacred nature radiates from him, and he must throw himself into the work of the world. He must try to lift a little of the heavy karma of the world and aid the few strong hands that hold back the power of darkness. Thus, he becomes well-tuned instrument in these few strong hands and the perfect channel for the flow of their work to help humanity at large, to forward the evolution and safeguard the civilization. Thus, my brothers and sisters, let us be the path to become part of his life by understanding the truth. Let us be the path to become the part of his life by understanding the truth. So let us look for the light, follow the light. Thou art the light. Let that light shine within by understanding that light is hidden everywhere, in every rock, in every stone. The light is nearer than aught else within a man's very heart. The light is nearer than aught else within a man's very heart. All comes from the light, and to that light all shall return. Thus, my brothers and sisters, let us progress from the lower to higher spiritual levels, from darkness to light, from known to unknown. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Thank you, Dr. Revathy. Thank you so much for such a wonderful presentation, giving us the brief overview of the book, The Light on the Path, and sharing with us the deep hidden meanings of the aphorisms that it contains. And I remember one of the sutras of the book, that within you is the light of the world. If you cannot find it within, it is useless. It is useless to look it elsewhere. As you have mentioned, that light is everywhere, not just in human beings, but also in each and every manifestation of the divine, be it of any kingdom, vegetable kingdom, mineral kingdom, plant kingdom, or human kingdom. And maybe that is the path of evolution that we all are on. We all are on this journey. And I remember a quote from one of the, maybe a Sufi philosopher, I don't know the name, that self-realization, or the aim that we all have, is the longest journey to the nearest destination. So we all have to find and go within. And thank you once again to share with us your insightful and inspiring talk on this subject. And now we open the forum for all our delegates, and I request all the speakers of the day and also the speakers of the conference that have spoken on the first and the second day, that please you can switch on your videos, and if our delegates put up any questions, if you want to answer some of those questions or add to the answer after it has been answered by one of the speakers, please you can do so. So I request all the speakers, if they can switch on their cameras. And just to begin with, I have received a couple of questions through WhatsApp, which I would like to take up in an order. Okay. I don't know who would like to answer this. It's a question about all the three books, actually, about At the Feet of the Master, The Voice of the Silence, and Light on the Path. So somebody has asked that, is there an order or a step-by-step way to study all these three books, or a person can study any book first depending on one's own choice?
It depends upon the person's stage of evolution. Let me say that first book which Theosophical Society published, I mean to say, when Theosophical Society was formed in the 1875, at that time we don't have any book. Then subsequently there is Isis Unveil, then the Mahatma letters, and in between the masters who joined the movement, means for the Western world disciple, Western world people or members. The Venetian master already published that book, that Light on the Path. Then Master Hilarion, who is in charge of Fifth Ray, so his disciple Mabul Collins, for the first time for the members of Theosophical Society, this Light on the Path came into the picture in the 1885. At that time, there was no book for the disciple, would-be disciple or aspirant, in which way they shall proceed, particularly as the Theosophical Society was formed for the Western audience, or rather we can say it is the bridge between East and West. So the masters chose Blavatsky and Olcott. So the one of our white brother, Master Hilarion, through Marble Collins, published that book. So this Light and the Path, the way it was presented to us, it can take you up, as Revathy and others they have already described today. First part, it will take you to up to the stage of first initiation. Then from the other speaker said, then when you probably the Bhaskaran, when you entered into the stream to reach that other side, this second part will take you. And Swami Subbarao already given according to the stage of evolution, you will be getting answer, or your questions will be answered as per your stage of evolution. There are innumerable meanings, but 7 minutes. So that was the stage in 1885 Light and Path came into the Theosophical Society. Then Blavatsky, she wrote many things, Secret Doctrine, then the Voice of Silence, then other like Key to Theosophy, other text. Then she chose, because she is a Buddhist, and she probably, I'm not sure, she got direction from the Master M, because she is a Buddhist. So she wrote Voice of Silence. Voice of Silence, particularly for the members who are interested to follow the Buddhist text. And in that also one can travel. There are 3 parts. So first part, second part, control of mind. Then second part also 3 halls, which we have discussed yesterday. Then 7 paramitas that Radhika, Amardeep, they're beautifully presented. Thanks up to Raghunath who referred their names. So that was that book. So then come the master, At the Feet of Master. At the Feet of Master, you all know that one of our very senior brothers like C.W. Dutter, he had taken the astral body to Himalayas and get all the text. He means Alcione had it from the Master KH. Then next day he wrote it down. Then subsequently it presented. So At the Feet of Master, in fact, it came to Theosophical Society in 1911 or 12, something like that. I forgot the name. 1910, first edition. So the point is, Anivesant clearly mentioned, clearly told to us that if you follow the At the First Master, not only from the beginning of the path till the end, that was the probably the sentence by J. Krishnamurti given in that book. In Anivesant, according to Anivesant, you can reach the stage of perfection to the level. So the question of my point is, you can choose any book of your choice, of your means whatever. If you like Master and Path, At the Feet of Master, if you like the Voice of Silence or Light and Path, it is well and good. You can proceed.
Thank you so much. Our dear conference officer has given such a detailed and beautiful explanation to this question, and I think he has covered also the answers of a couple of other questions which I got. One of the other questions was that it is said that the aphorisms have many layers of meaning. What does it signify? So Mahapatraji has already explained it, that depending upon the stage of evolution, you will, or stage of consciousness that the person is in, you will get that meaning which applies to yourself. So we may read the same book again and again, and we read it month after month, year after year, and every time we see that we get some new meaning, some deeper meaning. So that's the answer. I think that's the question we have also done. And there was, I think, one more thing that was mentioned here regarding the books. And after that, I will come to the real question that all the three books, if we notice the dedication of these books, that gives a very clear indication or very good indication of to whom it may who it may inspire. At the feet of the master, the book is dedicated to those who knock. Means those people who, you know, who are ready, who wants to question the things, who are not satisfied with the general superstitions, rituals of the religion. They want to know deeper. So to those who knock. Voice of the silence is dedicated to the few. A few people out of those who knock, there are few who will go ahead maybe. And then light on the path, as we have seen today, dedicated to all disciples. That is, those who are already disciples accepted or on probation, that's a different thing. So that, I think this dedication of these three books is a very good indication of all these things. And now coming to our next question, I would like to invite Brother N.C. Krishna ji, if he agrees to it, because I think the question belongs to his keynote speech that he gave up from known to unknown. The question is that, can an aspirant move from known to unknown with the help of the mind? Shall I repeat, sir? Nancy Krishna?
I've got it. I've got
Okay,
the.
okay.
Yes, mind seems to be the most important component of that. But then we have associated ourselves with the physical body for so long. We don't know for how many lives we got associated with this physical body. So physical body is everything is what we say or what we feel. So unless we leave the gross and move towards the thinner and thinner and thinnest, we will not be able to reach the unknown. And if you want to see an example, for example, the space rocket or something which is launched, it at the point of time when it is launched, it's very heavy, maybe 27,500 tons or something like that. But as it goes above, it goes on shedding, and only a capsule reaches the where it is supposed to reach. So similarly, we have the physical body. The extension of the physical body is the etheric double. Etheric double also plays a vital role. And then we have the astral body, where we perhaps were associated ourselves with so much of desires. And the book At the Feet of the Master talks about desirelessness and how to get rid of desires and how to practice desirelessness and how to understand desires, all the rest of it. And as you keep moving by cleansing the physical body, cleansing the etheric double, cleansing the astral body, and then you go to the lower mental, as the questioner has asked, lower mental, where everything is looking divided. Everything seems to be comparable, disintegrated, and so many things. So that is the actual problem where we find that I am different from Shikhar, I am different from Pradeep, like that. You know, we have so much of differences which we think are most important. But if you can cleanse that also and move further into the higher mental state where there is only absolute unity, absolute togetherness, and all these things can be achieved by lifting our consciousness, which is there to begin with, the gross in the physical body. As we move up, then we touch the other planes, other bodies, and then move further up. Very importantly, we have to cleanse all the bodies as we keep moving. And so, like, you know, when we reach, say, for example, from Calcutta, I'm coming to Hyderabad, my plane stops at Bhubaneswar. So it's only a hopping flight. It's only our half an hour stop. So that's exactly how we can stop at astral and move further to the lower mental, and lower mental also, if we have analyzed and cleansed all that and moved to the higher mental, I think that's the place where we need to stay, contemplate, and the amount of time which we spend more in the higher mental, the more clarity we have, the more togetherness we'll have, unity, the cleanliness, what is that, swachhata, as we call it in Sanskrit, swachhata, the expansive thing. I don't know how many people observe when they're flying in the aeroplane, just look around, absolute white clouds, and the plane is going through the white clouds, you feel you're lost. So actually, when you reach that higher mental state also, it is that sort of cleansed atmosphere which one comes across. And if one stays there for some time or extends there for some time, and with that consciousness, if he starts living down below, I think he would reach the target wherever he has to go, where he has to. So the mind plays definitely a very important role. So meditation plays a very important role. Meditation is the key, how we relegate other heavier bodies and move towards the higher consciousness or higher mental consciousness and stay in higher mental. Thank you.
सर आप म्यूट हैं शिखर जी.
Mute yourself, Shikhar.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Brother Krishnaji, for such a detailed but at the same time to the point answer to this question. And I definitely hope that the questioner would have got some pointers with that. And I have got, I think the question would, okay, I think one question that I can actually invite Professor Shinde also, and next maybe Brother Shastri also. But if anyone else also would like to comment or add something, you are most welcome. I am saying Professor Shinde because Professor Shinde ji has given many study classes and workshops on light on the path. So I think he's the best person, because this is a question about light on the path. It says, why there are paradoxes in the aphorisms in Light on the Path. In one place it is said, kill out desire, but in the next part it is said, desire for something. So why are these paradoxes given in Light on the Path? If you would like to throw some light, sir.
Sir, unmute yourself.
Yeah.
No, sir, not yet. Yes.
We have to look at it in different point of view. In the sense, sometimes we fail. Paradoxes are helpful because sometimes we fail, and in this process of failing, we learn lesson also. And when we learn lesson, it is that point where the soul grows. The soul grows life after life. And we fail again and again, but we learn lessons. And to learn lessons, these are the steps. And when the soul grows, we will progress towards the perfection. These are the steps. So all these rules, first 21 rules are for removing our ahankara, I-ness, me-ness, and the other rules are exactly opposite in the sense we have to go beyond that. For example, as you said, desire, kill out desire. And Krishnamurti says desire is not love. Kill out desire, and desire is not love, and desirelessness leads you to love in true sense. So kill out desire, then you can understand what is love. Desire is not love because desire gives pleasure. That statement also Krishnamurti says. Why desire is not love? Because desire gives pleasure. So love and desire, how these are opposite. So sometimes we are asked to desire because it is a motive force. We need motive force while learning the lessons. But later on, we must become a desireless. Kill out the desire, because you will learn the lesson that all desires gives you pleasure and not that joy, ananda, sat chit ananda. That ananda we don't get. So desire is the cause of rebirth, as said Buddha. So desire not to become desires are there to become desireless. See, this is the paradox.
Yes, yes.
Desires are there so that with the experience you become desireless state. And that is the moksha again. So liberation is to be free from worldly attachment. And wise are not attached, as Bhagavad Gita says. So desire binds us. So when a man is really seeking, if man is really seeking power, position, prestige, reward, recognition, in the name of country, in the name of our prestige, in the name of our idea of brotherhood, whatever it is, then all these gives him pleasure. This is for one life only. That is at the feet of the master, it is said. So all this, so he has no love, he brings about war. And therefore, desire is not love. So we are asked to kill out the desire, and it is the love which brings all together, binds all together to realize the universal brotherhood. That is what I think. We can think in this manner of these paradoxes.
Can I add 2 lines? Can I add 2 lines?
Yes, yes, Brother Krishna, please.
Yeah. The mind is the cause for all this. Mind is the cause for all this. And the association with the body, those desires are different, and the desires which are beyond the bodily desires, the desires which will, like we have in Ucha Kama, Nicha Kama. Nicha is something which is inferior, which is related to the body, and Ucha Kama is realization, maybe moving towards one and realizing the one, etc. So this desire, which is related to the body, is something which is to be jettisoned, and the other one, the desire for becoming one with the ultimate, is something which we need to move towards. So the mind takes you there, and mind also plays its role. The lower mind and the physical body, all that astral body, they play the role of putting you into that muddle of desires. So this is what I feel. It is the mind which is the, in fact, we have that one lecture we had. I don't know whether enough emphasis was put on the slayer of the mind is the slayer of the real. Slay the slayer. The second portion is more important and relevant. If you keep on talking about mind is the slayer, okay, right. But slay the slayer, that's more important. So that's exactly what we need to look at, I guess. Perhaps I've taken more time. Okay.
Thank you, Professor Shinde, and thank you, Brother Krishnaji. What maybe Krishnaji is saying, Professor Shinde said that the paradoxes are there to make us think, to make us learn. When we fail, we make more effort and we learn. And Sri Krishnaji is saying that one thing we can call a desire, and another thing we can call an aspiration to move upwards. So thank you, both of you, for the comments. And we are now coming to close of the session, but still I can take a couple of questions. And next question, although I think anyone who would like to add can add, but I think Brother Shastri made this talk. So I think the question may Shastri.
Questions.
No, wait. Let me tell you the question first, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. So the question is, before the eyes can see, they must be incapable of tears. Could you kindly explain or clarify this statement in brief? This is a question. I think these are one of the 4 preliminary qualifications that you took, sir. So before the eyes can see, they must be incapable of tears. Can you throw some light on this, Brother Shastriji?
Try my best, sir. But actually, I prepared for one more question. Somebody previously asked about love. Actually, I wanted to tell that point. But that
Okay. If you want to say about that, please tell that. This we will take
because
later.
The point why I have taken is very useful even nowadays also. That's why I have taken. Love in daily life. Even in those days also, they have made it more clear how the love can be understood. In daily life, this means 2 things. First, that you shall be careful to do no hurt to any living thing. Second, that you shall always be watching for an opportunity to help. Here, under no circumstances we should hurt anybody. And second thing is they must be ready to serve. This is in daily life. And second point, only I am telling basic points because and again each point is to be elaborated.
No, sir. We do not have that much time right now. Yeah, we have only the time for question and answer, sir.
Okay.
People can read the book
and
later.
Second thing is first, to do no hurt. 3 sins there are which work more harm than all else in the world: gossip, cruelty, and superstition, because they are sins against love. So this is very important. Gossip and cruelty and superstitions. These are also every day we talk in our regular life. Sometimes when we sit chat, we generally comment on somebody like that. That is also a sin. Cruelty, and another thing is
superstition.
Superstitions. And one more
point. Talk about TS. I would like to talk about TS.
Okay, sir. Thank you, Brother Shastriji.
Only one line is there.
Okay.
Against these 3, man would fill his heart with the love of God, must watch his lesson. So the man has to be very careful. He has to keep a continuous watch on his heart himself. Therefore, he can be free of this malice and he can be filled with pure love. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Shastriji. And I think we are.
His hand.
Okay, Brother Krishnamurti ji has raised his hand. Brother Krishnamurti ji, kindly unmute yourself. Kindly unmute yourself.
Yes, I unmuted. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
See, this line, before the eyes can see, they must be incapable of tears. Before the ear can hear, it must have lost its sensitiveness. These lines are taken from the preamble of the book, the voice of the light on the path. Now, what does it mean? It does not mean that you should become stone-hearted or a robo. What the master says is, you must achieve equilibrium and poise. That's the most important thing. That is the qualification. Not that. You must not be swayed by emotions.
Correct.
Personal emotions are not there, should not be there. And when you are conquered the emotions, you can walk on the path. That's a basic thing. The next is because before the ear can hear, it must have lost its sensitiveness. Before the voice can speak in the presence of the master, it must have lost the power to wound. These are the things which are the prerequisites. But that means the student or the disciple must have achieved what we call as the equanimity, equilibrium and poise, so that he'll be ready to walk. That's the thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Brother Krishnamurti, for clarifying that for the questioner. I hope he got the answer correct. And Mahapatra ji, I think it's getting closer to the time, so I would now invite Brother S. Ramanji, the Secretary of Madras Theosophical Federation, and for giving the vote of thanks. But before he comes, I would like to say thanks on my personal behalf also for a wonderful Easter conference. And Brother Ramanji, kindly, the floor is all yours now.
Thank you. Good evening to everyone. I hope I am audible.
Yes.
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Hearty greetings and good wishes to all participants. I'm honored to be part of the 98th Easter Conference. Conference is remembering the Supreme Being. I must convey our gratitude to our international President, Brother Jim Boyd, for his kind words, even as he was traveling, shows his concern and care. I thank our International Secretary, Maria Atma, and welcome message. She had expressed the wish. To quote her, we will assemble at Adayar for the next Easter conference. I thank our President, Sri Pradeep H. Gohil, who has been a source of strength for his guidance and support. My thanks to the organizers section, Sri Pradeep H. Gohil and Sri Pradeep Mahapatra, convener, for having meticulously arranging the topics and speakers. Sri Pradeep Mahapatra for arranging the 98th Easter Conference. A stupendous effort, because even last year we have a live meeting, but still he went ahead and arranged the online meeting, and he is doing it consecutively for the second year. An online effort, a lot of coordination, planning, and effort. The purpose of Easter Conference is a training platform for the new entrants on the basic principles. There was abundance of detail for the interested listener, and enough to hold the attention of the. There is much food for thought, engrossing, fascinating for the spiritual seeker who is searching for answers. So I would like to thank all our speakers. Most of the speakers had spoken on the feet of the Master, voice of silence, and also on the light of the path. I thank all the speakers for giving us an excellent presentation on their chosen subjects. So many have come from the participants. While going through this, we're reminded of the famous lines of Rudyard Kipling. But he has nothing, but he has been a great writer. But there is neither east nor west, no border, no breed, no birth, nor birth. Indicates that universal and divine. The interactive session where we have had the question and answer session, I will compliment Professor C.A. Shinde. During the question and answer sessions, through use of common sense, coupled with academic depth, clarity, and a perfect synthesis between scientific outlook and traditional theosophy. The replies were clear and cogent. The replies and clarification given to the participants contain all that one needs to know of the path of self-inquiry. I would also like to thank the moderator. After a long time, it was really nice to see some youngsters also as moderators. So I take it as a healthy beginning, that more youngsters are showing interest and keenness in theosophy. I would like to thank the moderators, Oja, Catalina Iza Kantar, Shivani Kesh Hari, Mrs. Vimal Balchandar, and I also thank for the wonderful video presentations. So we have been, at least I have been a pre the Adayar campus from almost 1962. For the first time, we could get an aerial view of our campus. So the video on Adayar made it possible for us. A video by Pavanshi Mohanty from the Prayaga and the T.S. Varanasi was also very informative and interesting. The video of Viswajit who played the flute, Sri Ramachandran Bhajamana, was also very interesting. I thank once again the moderators. Their presentations have been insightful, informative, instructive, and practical. So we are at the close of the, which can be equated with the satsang. Satsang is very important because it leads to a spiritual life, so that contemplated during the meeting. I hope this experience will carry us the known to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Shikharji, kindly close with a closing prayer.
Okay, sir.
I'm grateful to each and everyone for this Easter conference, including all the participants, moderators, and also. And with the last that we will meet again, actually probably at that time in 2023, as it says, it is on 7th April. We will meet again, actually, if possible. Thank you, Shikharji. Kind close.
And thanks to S. Raman also.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who gave the vote of thanks.
Yes, sir.
And yeah,
Vote of thanks can be in 2 words, sir. It can be thanks to all the participants, thanks to all the speakers.
Yes,
thanks to each and every factor that made this conference possible and successful and inspiring. So from whatever contribution may have been, which invisible or invisible. So now that we are coming to the end of the conference, and we may have received some peace or blessings or benediction from the higher self, let us come together in heart and mind to share this peace and the feeling of wholeness with the whole manifestation. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu, sarvesham shantir bhavatu, sarvesham purnam bhavatu, sarvesham mangalam bhavatu, sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhag bhave. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you all for